We used the spreadsheet, but we found that the spreadsheet was not so hot in finding out anything about the middle, right? If I didn't know how many payments I needed to make, or if I didn't know how long, the spreadsheet wasn't very good for that. The spreadsheet was only good if we knew exactly what was going to be happening over the period of time, right? These calculators have a TVM solver, and you don't need to write this down, but TVM stands for time value of money. And these calculating tools exist everywhere. You can find them on the internet. You can find them online. They're easy to use. You just get a hold of them. But we have them built into these calculators, so we'll be using it. All of those, to get to here, everybody should turn on their calculator. You will push the apps button, and I'm going to get my calculator visible so you can see it. Apps, and then this will show up. Then if you will push, most of you should only have one app on there. There may be more than one, but you need finance. Apps is third button down on the second column. It's purple. Then, of course, you'll hit 1, and then this will come up. We are going to use the TVM solver. Now, you will look there. You see payment, interest, present value, number, future value. Depending on the question, you can use any one of these if you know you're going to be seeking one of those. But the first one, number 1, covers all of them. So there's not much point in messing around with it. We'll just use the one that works for everything. So I hit 1, and then you should be faced with this, which you can see has it right here. And there's the screen right there. Now, all of these things, you already know what they are. The number of payments, that is your N, just like in the equation, right? So the number of payments is going to be in years, but it might be in years times compounding periods. So if you're paying, for example, once a month into a bank account, and you're going to be doing that for 5 years, what number is going here? 60. Now, sometimes you're not going to be able to do that in your head. So on the calculator, you're able to put in multiplying, right? If you're putting in $5 a day for 5 years, 5 times 365 is a little harder to do in your head. But on your calculator, you can actually push 5 times 365. And then when you push enter, it'll have how many payments you've made. Everybody cool? So that's pretty self-explanatory. That's our interest rate. Now, the calculator is smart like the spreadsheet. You can just put in the number, not as a decimal. So you just punch in the percentage as a number. Everybody cool? All right. Now, here, PV, present value, payment value, and future value are all a little bit weird, okay? It won't really affect your answer, but it's still a little strange. These three can either be positive or negative. And that depends on where the money is going. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? If it is leaving your pocket, it is outflow. So it's minus. If it is coming into your pocket, it is income. So it is positive. That's the only thing that those negative signs and positive signs mean. It's the direction the money is going. But the amount doesn't change. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So even if you punch it in wrong, you're going to get the right number. Everybody cool? All right. So these are all pretty self-explanatory, right? Present value, what you're starting with. If I'm starting with nothing and I'm trying to save up for retirement, my present value would be 0, right? My payments, how much I'm going to put away every month towards retirement, does that leave my pocket? So it would be what? Positive or negative? Negative. At the end of this all, when I retire, my future value, is that coming into my pocket or leaving my pocket? Coming in, so it would be positive. Everybody understand? But even if I punch it in wrong and I punch the payment in as positive, then the future value will show up as negative. But it'll be the exact same number. Everybody cool? All right. Payments per year, self-explanatory. If I'm putting the money away every month, I'm making 12. If I'm putting it away semi-annually, how many payments a year am I making? Semi-annually. 2, right? Compounding periods per year, we know what that is. That's our N, small n, from the formula. Self-explanatory. Now this is also a little tricky. When the payments are made in the interest cycle. Now, interest is money the bank is giving you, right? That's coming out of their pocket. When do you think the bank will give you your interest? So, I'm saving money in the bank. I put in $100 a month, right? On the first day of the month, January 1st, a couple of days ago, I put $100 in the bank. Do you think the bank gave me any interest on that $100? No. Okay? Because that's money leaving the bank. Do you understand? So they would be paying me my interest at the beginning of every cycle. Because at the beginning, I have less money in there, so they would pay me less interest. Does everybody understand? What if it was a loan? I have taken money from the bank. When do you think they want their interest? At the end, right away. Right? So if I borrow $1,700 or $17,000, right? Then they're going to take their interest on that $17,000. They're not going to let me make a payment before I give interest. Everybody follow me? Okay? It's not that important. Kids forget it all the time. And when you do the work, it's only a couple of dollars difference. All right? So if you forget, it's no big deal. We can also agree to just leave it at end. It doesn't really matter. It's a few dollars. Okay? So let's do this very first one. Let's see if we can make it work. Obviously, at the beginning, it's our first time out. Let's fill these in. So, you guys can read this. What's my number of payments if I'm paying month? Read the question, and let's fill in what we know. Do I know my N? I don't, do I, Burke? Because the question says, find the length of time. I have no idea how long this is going to take. Right? Okay. So, do I know my interest? What is it? 3.2. And I enter it as 3.2, not 0.032. So the calculator knows what it's doing. What's my present value? So right now, what is the value of $17,500? Did that come into my pocket or out of my pocket? It's a loan to me. Did it come into my pocket or out of my pocket? Into my pocket. Okay, I have no money right now. I want to go buy a car. My pockets are empty. Everybody understand? Now pay attention because this is going to be, it's going to make sense in a sec. So my present value is $17,500 because that's what came into my pocket. Now, what is leaving my pocket? $500 a month. So since that's leaving my pocket, what do I put there? Negative 500. Does everybody understand? And my future value, what's the value that I want this loan to get to? 0. I want to pay it off, right? 0. My payments per year. How many payments do I make a year? 12. And how many compounds does it have a year? Read the question. Pardon me, Heyman? No, that's how much we paid. How many compounding periods are there in a year? 12, because it's monthly. Everybody cool? And the payment, since it's a loan, is coming at the end. Right? Everybody understands why we filled this in? Now, go over to your calculator, and this is weird because we're going to be using these arrow keys. Let's get my calculator to turn on. All right. So, the arrow keys move the cursor around. So my number payments, that's what I don't know, right? So we're going to clear that off. Now, notice that I cannot move the cursor unless I have a value there. Okay? So, 0. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. What's our interest rate? 3.2, so we just enter that. 3.2, not 3.5, 3.2. Arrow key, 17,500. Arrow key of negative 500. Future value of 0. Payments, 12. Compounds per year, 12. Payment at the end. Now, everything's filled in, right? Yes, Damaris. Oh, thank you. That wouldn't work very well. 12. Now, everything is done, yes? So, you bring the cursor up to what you want to solve. We want to find the number of payments this time, right? So, I come up there, and this gets weird. Alpha. Everybody see the green alpha button? Alpha. See how down by enter it says solve in green? Alpha, enter on the arrow you want. And that says I'm going to need to make 36.79 payments. Everybody understand? Now, those payments are per month. So that means I'm going to be making 36.7 months of payments, which is essentially 3 years. Everybody cool? Easy peasy, right? Computer does all the work. All you got to do is remember when it's plus, when it's minus. And even that, do you really have to remember it? No, but you have to chill out, because if it says you're saving for retirement and it gives you a future value of negative $800,000, you just need to know that you just screwed up the payment one. Understand? You're not going to, if you're saving money for retirement, you're not going to, when you're 65, have to come up with $800,000 to pay to the bank. Right? Everybody's with me? Okay. So, what was our answer here? 36.79 months. And that's all we're doing. Everybody cool? And today, we're going to start. I'm going to let you guys do your first. 19, 20, 21. You're going to go until, you're going to stop at mortgages. And we'll see what time it is then, before I get too into mortgages. Remember, I highly recommend writing this out. If you write it out, you can't do it wrong. And it literally takes 2 seconds. Remember, if it's a loan you're paying off, you're most likely doing your interest at the end of the cycle. If it's savings that you're building, you're going to be at the beginning of the cycle. Everybody cool? Go. So the only decisions you're really making here is at payment. Is he saving up or is he paying down? He's saving up, right? So when does the bank want to give him his interest? When? At the beginning, before he's put any money in. So that should be what your line looks like. And right here, you're going to put your cursor up to FV. And there is where you're going to push alpha, enter. And that's going to give you your number. And what is it? 13,838.24. Now, some of you are going to have 13,435 or something. Those people are the people that did end. The bank, when you are saving, gives you your interest at the beginning of the cycle, because then they don't have to pay you any interest on what you put in that cycle. Does everybody understand? The bank wants to give you as little interest as they can, and they want to collect from you as much as they can. Okay? Can we move along? All right, let's turn to the next one. Read the question. This is tricky. Read the question. Is Monica trying to buy the car today? No, so she's not getting a loan, is she? She's saving up, right? All right, that's the hint. Monica is doing the smart thing. She's driving a piece of crap car for 5 years while she saves up for a nice one instead of going into debt. So, do we know our N? 5 years. And how many payments is she going to make, Jaskar? 12 a year, right? So it's going to be 5 times 12. Now, all of you can do that in your head, but if you want to punch in 5 times 12, the calculator will give it to you. What's her interest? What's her present value? How much does she have for her car right now today? 0. What's her payment? Do we know? How much must she invest? We don't know, do we? So there's our question mark. That is where we're going to do our alpha enter. What's the future value that she's trying to save up to? 28,600. What's her payments per year? She's making 12 payments because she's paying in every month. And when is it compounded? 12. Now, she's saving up. So is it beginning or end? No, she's saving. No, she's beginning because she's saving. Right? It's not a loan. She's saving up. My screen just went blank, I know, but you don't need to see it. What's the answer? Now, remember, her 4.5. Yeah. Her payment is what we don't know. Her future value is 28,600. 12. So what is it?
Negative 424.34.
Nope. Look again. 0.35. Now, why is it negative? Because that's going out of her pocket. That's what she has to do every month. 424.35 will leave her wallet and go into this account to be saving for her car. Do you understand? That's why it's negative, because it's going out of her money, out of her pocket. Okay? Everybody cool? It's at the beginning because she's saving. Does everybody get that? Now, you saw in the last question, it only made like a $300 difference, right? But you just got to think, in finance, the bank has to make money too, right? They're doing a service. Like, everyone complains about banks, but without banks, we couldn't live the lives we're leading, right? We wouldn't have cars. We wouldn't have houses, right? We wouldn't own these things. Now, there's plenty of countries in the world where people don't own their house, Like in Germany, where my friend just lived for like 7 years, almost nobody owns their houses. Almost everybody rents. I don't know who owns the houses, but the places are rented. But you own all your stuff. So when you leave a place, you take the stove, the fridge, the laundry. That all goes with you. And when you rent an apartment, it's empty. When you walk in, there is nothing there. It's bare walls. And you got to get everything yourself. When I was in Ecuador, most people don't own their home. They rent. But weirdly, most Canadians and Americans that were down there had bought their homes, because in Canada and America, there's this belief that you're not a real person unless you own your home. Everybody has to own their home, which is okay, just different. So the bank is doing us a service, right? And the bank needs to be paid. Think of how many people work for these banks. They've all got to be paid. Where does that money come from? From us getting mortgages, car loans, bank accounts, all that stuff. Now, it kind of bothers me that banks are able to make $1 billion a year and have to charge me 30 cents every time I even look at a bank. But whatever. Everybody with me? Okay. So 21. Now we're getting to something that should start interesting you guys. He's 25 years old. He's just finished school. And he's opening up a savings account that pays 10% per annum. Ain't no savings account paying 10%. No way. But let's just see. Thanks to his new job, Jim can put $200 to his savings at the beginning of each month. That's a big hint, right? At the beginning of the month. Okay. How much will he be in this account when Jim retires age 55 if he continues his monthly deposits? Now, you saw yesterday we did some of these on the spreadsheet, right? And it took up the whole page. We had to go down 46 lines, right? We only had to write the equations once, and then we were able to do Control D, but it still took up a lot of room. Here, we can do it all in one shot. This is one we can't do in our heads, though, can we? He's 25 years old. He's going to retire at 55. So how many years is this? 30. But he's paying in how much? Monthly, so it's 30 times what? 12. So you're going to enter that. 30 times 12, that's going to give you the answer. Now, the answer is, of course, 360. You can do that. Some of you are able to do that in your head, but some of you wouldn't have. What's our interest? 10. What's our starting value? 0. What's our payment? What kind of 200? Negative. It's going out of his pocket. Every month now, he is losing $200, so he will have money later. Does that help? Okay. What's our future value? We don't know. We have no idea how much money this guy's going to have. But what's his payments? 12. And how many? How's it compounded? Read the question. Quarterly. Little tricky there, right? He's saving up, so is it beginning or end? Beginning. How much is this dude going to have? Now, there are not savings accounts paying 10% per year, but there are investments you can make that can. If you ever happen to move to Ecuador, first of all, you can visit with me. But secondly, their savings accounts pay 10% a year. So how much is this dude making? Where's the alpha enter going to be? Right here at future value. 400. Tell me the real number. You're in the 11th grade. Don't say a bunch of numbers like it's a phone number. 447,918. 918.71. You got to look at the next number and round up. Everybody good? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, look at the next question, see if you can figure it out. How much of that was interest? No. How much? Not a percent. How are you going to figure that out? You're going to be very surprised. How much money did he put in? 200 a month. How many times did he put in that 200 a month? 360. So 360 times 12 is what? No, not 12, idiot. 200. How much did he put in? $72,000. How much did he get out? $447,000. How much of this was free money? Look at it. It's crazy. How much of it was free money? $375,000. Free money. Easy peasy, right? How many of you are running out right now to start your retirement savings? Not one of you? How many of you are going to consider thinking about it in the next 10 years? Yay! I got through to 3 of you. How many of you are buying 8 snowmobiles, 6 quads, the iPhone 12, and a 5,000 square foot house for you and your girlfriend, or boyfriend, or partner, and 1 child? Okay, so you're not spending your money on garbage, and you're not saving for retirement. What do you plan to do in the next 10 years? Huh? What other options are there? Buying a bunch of garbage or saving your money? 3 of you are going to save your money. The other 27 of you are, I guess, going to buy garbage. Until I asked if you were going to buy garbage, then you said no. You're going to buy a plane. Maybe. When you're old. Yeah. Not that expensive. Little single-engine Cessna, they're like 20 grand, aren't they? There you go. It's less than a car. All right. So let's check out this clown, Jared, his buddy. Jared spends 10 years buying snowmobiles, quads, and the iPhone 12. He doesn't save his money for 10 years. Let's see what happens to our friend Jared. So, he's doing how many payments? He's only going to pay for 20 years, yeah? So 20 times 12, right? So what's going there? 240. Anything else changing? 10, 0. Payments was negative 200. Future value is what we don't know. Payments per year is 12. Compounds per year is 4. Payments at the beginning. How much less money does my man Jared have because he needed the iPhone 12? What was it, Louis? 1,000? 100,000? 151,506. Started 10 measly years later. How much money did he lose? Jim had how much? Well, no, Jim had 450,000 almost, didn't he? With his own savings. Jared had 150,000 with his own savings. It's a $300,000 difference for only 10 years. $200 a month. What's that in a day? What are you going to do with 200 to find out how much you got to save per day? Divide it by 30. What's 200 divided by 30? How much? $6 a day. You can put away $6 a day. You can find a decent return of investment. $400,000. $6 a day. The next time you go to the store and buy garbage, see how much it costs. And see if you could live without that garbage. And then see if you could consider putting that in a bank. And then, when you're 65, and I am, let's see, you're 15, I'm 45. You're 65 and I'm 95, I will find you and I will say, did you put some money away? And you will say, no, man, I bought the iPhone 87. I had to give my kidney to Apple, but it was worth it. True story. Of course, by then the iPhone 87 will actually be implanted in your kidney, so you can just access it through your brain anyway. You're going to do it. Yes, you are. You people all say that. You're like, oh, I would never do that. You are all going to do it. When it gets to the point where they can put the computer in your brain and you can do this with your eyes, and that's search, and this is send a text, and this is call your friend, and this is check your banking, you're going to line up. You are going to be fighting like the people that nowadays that punch people out to get the iPhone X first. You guys are going to line up for it. And when your brains start exploding because, oh right, phones don't work forever, my brain will be normal and I'll be like, I told you so. But you won't listen. It's okay. Us old people will save the day for you again. I'm just kidding. Old people ruin the world. You people are ruining yourselves, but we ruin the world. So, well, I didn't. It's not my fault. I didn't invent the internal combustion engine. Hey. Never mind. Next one. If Jared wants the same amount as Jim, but he doesn't want to start saving till he's 35, he wants the iPhone 12. How much must he save monthly? Which one of these is now our question mark? The payment. Does anything else change? $240. What was the interest? 10. Present value was 0. What's our future value that he's going for now? The 447, right? He wants the same amount as Jim had. 447, what was it? I can't remember. 918, 71, 12 payments a year, compounded 4 times a year, beginning or end? Beginning. How much does this dude have to save? Jim only has to put aside $200 a month. What does this dude got to put aside? Almost triple. Even though he's only paying for 2/3 as long as Jim, he's got to triple his investment. Now, I have some friends that make an argument to do this. I have some friends that when they were young and they didn't have a lot of money, they just said, screw it, and they spent every cent they had. Because their argument was, after 10 years of saying screw it and spending every cent they had, they would be making more money as an older person. And it wouldn't be hard to do that. Make sense? Maybe. Whose choice is it? Yeah, it's up to you. You can have it easy for a long, long, long time. Or you can make it slightly more difficult for a shorter time. Now, those people had a bunch of kids, and stuff when they were young. So they didn't have any spare money anyway. But now their kids are out of the house and they're being paid a crap ton of money. So maybe it's easier to start saving at the later in life. What's the key to both scenarios? Saving. You're not going to win the lottery. You're just not. Although something like 40% of Canadians actually say that's part of their retirement plan. Some sort of windfall earning. Like their great-great-uncle Sebastian in Upper Croatia is going to die and leave them some castle or something. Don't plan for that. Especially if you're my kid, because I plan to spend every cent of my money. I plan to live till I'm very, very old and live very, very well. He can damn well earn his own money. Now that I've said that, he'll get an acting job and he'll make more money than me anyway, and he'll be supporting me when I'm old. That's my lottery. My retirement plan is my kid getting on a TV show. He was on a TV show. He got killed, man. He took a bullet in the shoulder. He did his own stunt. Did all his own stunts on that show. Actually, it was funny. The only thing they wouldn't let him do was actually fall onto when he got shot. He still had to spin and pretend to fall. But they wouldn't let him actually fall. Everything else he had to do on his own. Anyway, and he almost was on that show Kidding with Jim Carrey. Almost. Him and one other kid. Stupid little Texan. I haven't even watched the show. I refuse to watch it because I know the kid's going to be a worse actor than my kid. But what are you going to do? It's my kid's fault. He forgot to speak French to the director. The director was a Frenchman. And I warned him. I said, St. John, the director he's French. If you can talk to him in French, that will help. But I didn't take him to LA. My wife took him to LA, and my wife forgot to remind him that the director was French. I know, I'm so pissed off. But what are you going to do? If he'd gotten it, I would have had to move to LA. Darn. Then I would have had to teach in LA. Ugh. I wouldn't have taught. I would have surfed all day. I would have been a substitute, like work 1 day a week. And then surf. Dad, I'm finished filming. Tough luck. Wait there. I'll be there in an hour. No, the studio is close to Santa Monica, so it's not very... It would have worked wonderfully. All right. How much did Jim invest in total? We already know this. How much did Jim have to put in? $72,000. What about my man Jared? How much did he invest in scenario D? He had to do 240 investments of how much money? $591.29. How much did he have to invest? $141,909. He had to invest double the money. Now, the argument is, yeah, he had to invest double the money, but maybe it was easier for him to make those investments. But what it comes down to is who got more free money, Jared or Jim? Jim got a ton more free money, didn't he? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I say to the people who say, I'm going to do it later. Yeah, you're going to end up at the same goal, but you're going to have worked a lot harder to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, a significant amount more of your own money had to go into it. Right? Why not have the bank pay you to live when you're old? That's what I say. But that's just me. What's the lesson? Save. What's the better lesson? Save early. Unless you're like, yeah, I'll be fine. Alrighty? Alrighty. Now, I suppose we could go on. What time is it? It's only 9. Let's read this. Let's talk about this because there's some tricky stuff in here. We'll come back to it tomorrow, though, probably. So the one that most people are familiar with are car loans and mortgages. Car loans are easy, right? You go to the bank or the car dealership, you say, I want to buy this car. They say it's going to be $30,000. You say, I don't have $30,000, I need a loan. They give you a loan. They say, you're going to pay it back $300 a month, and in 7 years, you're going to be done. Right? Easy peasy. It's over, it's done with. Mortgages are not like that because your house doesn't cost $30,000. Right? In our neck of the woods, a house is, in Abbotsford, a house for a family is $750,000. If you're lucky. Right? Houses in Chilliwack, same size, about $550,000. Now, there are $1 million houses in Chilliwack. There's $5 million houses in Chilliwack. There's $5 million houses in Abbotsford. There's $40 million houses in Vancouver. Nobody is walking around with wallets that thick, are they? You are not buying your house the way you buy your computer, right? Who is buying the house? The bank. The bank is buying the house for you. And you pay them back slowly, usually over 25 years-ish. Now, in the United States, they had a big problem with these mortgages. They gave mortgages to people who couldn't afford to pay them, and they gave mortgages for 30, 40, 50 years. And then each bank sold those mortgages to other banks. So it caused a giant financial crisis. We in Canada and most other banking systems in the world were smart enough to avoid that because most other banking systems have some government oversight. The government makes sure that the banks are treating the money efficiently and fairly. The American system of doing business is government get out of my face. And then when something blows up and the banks melt down, the banks blame the government for not keeping track of them. And then they have the nerve to ask the government for money to save the day. And then the people vote for those same governments that did that. And then they get mad when they have to pay taxes. And then they vote for people like Donald Trump who say, no. Banks are on their own. Tough luck. He owns banks. That's beside the point. So, basically, in your people's lives, right now in Canada, it's about 25 years. You can get more or less mortgages, right? 10 years ago when I bought my house, the maximum was 30 years. You could get a 30-year mortgage. In some places, they have different rules. Like in Vancouver, where a piece of crap house, an actual piece of crap house, there's a website called Crack Shack or Mansion. And it is Vancouver houses being compared to crack houses in Detroit. And they put a picture of both, and you have to decide, or they put a picture of one, you have to decide if it's a crack house in Detroit, the worst city in America, or a house in Vancouver that people actually buy. I don't know if the website exists, but it existed for a while. And you couldn't tell because the $1 million houses in Vancouver were garbage. So, sometimes there's other rules depending on the situation you were in. So you can read all this. It's pretty easy. There's some words in here that I want to take some time with. Amortized. That just means that the loan is split up. The borrower makes equal payments over a specific length of time. Now this is where it gets a little strange. If I borrow $500,000 to pay for my house, and I am going to have a 25-year period to pay it back. All right? The bank doesn't want to guarantee that interest rate for 25 years. Why? They cannot see the future, nor can anyone else, right? And I'll give you an example of this in a moment. Because they can't see the future, they like to give you little chunks of time to pay back your loan. Usually averages out about 5 years. Some banks will go as long as 10, and some mortgages will be as low as 1. It depends on your level of ability to accept risk. Okay? For example, if I get a mortgage and I have a 1-year period and they guarantee my interest rate for 1 year, after that year I have to get my loan refinanced. So here's what that means. Let's say I borrow, and I'm going to keep the numbers small to show you guys. Let's say I borrow $100. Everybody with me? I pay back $4 a month. Or I shouldn't say that. Yeah, $4 a month. Right? So if I pay back $4 a month and there was no interest, it will take 25 months to pay this off, right? But there's going to be interest along the way. So I'm paying it off. Now, some people will say, the bank will say, all right, I'll give you 2.5% interest rate for 5 years. And you can say, oh, well, if it's 2.5% for 5 years, I'm going to know what I'm paying for every month for those 5 years, because it's guaranteed for all 5 years. Now, maybe 3 years from now, something happens in the banking world and interest rates drop to 1.7%. You're still paying 2.5. Does everybody understand? But there was no risk in it because you know it's going to be 2.5. Because it also could happen that the interest rates could explode and people are paying 5.5%, but you're still paying 2.5. Does everybody understand? A lot of people like that. They like to know how much they're going to be paying for how long they're going to be paying it without worrying about it. But if interest rates drop, you could be in trouble. Or you could be angry, not in trouble. Everybody understand? Some people like to go for, this is a 5-year. Some people like to go for 1 year. And maybe for that 1 year, it's 2.5. And then after 1 year, they renegotiate their loan. And they get a new loan on the 100 minus your payments. So now let's say you owe 90. Everybody with me? Then you do another 1 year on 90. And maybe that year it's 2.3. But maybe the next year, now you're down to 80, maybe the next year it's 4.7. Oh, damn. It's a gamble. Does everybody understand? It just depends on what you're willing to risk and how often you want to go into your bank or research or fight to get a better mortgage rate. Everybody cool? All right. And all of that is explained in here. You purchase property, the bank will offer you the money. You need to choose an interest rate. Why the difference? They're betting that interest rates will increase over time, harder to predict in the future. Now, here's the important part in Canada. Mortgage interest is annually or semi-annually. Okay? Usually it's done semi-annually. And payments, of course, are made at the end. Why? It's bank money, right? They want to get as much as they can out of you. Everybody understand? All right, so let's have a look at some mortgage problems. I haven't printed them on here, I don't think. I haven't. So you guys need to turn the page, and I will print these out. And we'll do a couple, and then we'll be done, because it's like 9:07. We'll just do a couple of them, and then we'll be finished for today. What page were we just on?
203 right now.
203 right now?
Yeah.
Search. Print. Ah! All right. So this one, it's a little harder, right? You have to do a little more work with the question before you come down to here, yeah? So how many payments is he making? When do you pay a mortgage? No, that's the interest. When do you make a payment? Monthly. And how many years is Gino paying off this mortgage?
15.
So what's going here?
15 times 12.
15 times 12. Right? Which is 180. Do we have an interest rate? 7. What's his present value?
Don't know.
Yes, you do know.
Oh.
What? No. That was what he made as a down payment.
425.
How much did he have to borrow from the bank?
425,000.
No.
Huh?
This is what I'm saying. You have to read the question. He paid, the house was 425,000. He paid 25. How much did the bank pay? 400. Why is that 400? Because the house... Now you can see how long ago I made these notes, right? When houses were only $400,000. The house was $425,000. And he paid $25,000. So the bank paid $400,000. Do I know his payment?
Yes.
Read the question.
No.
No. Future value. What's he trying to get this $400,000 down to?
0.
0. How many payments does he make a year? How can you make 15 payments a year? 12. And what's his compounding per year? 2, because we're going to say it's semi-annual. Beginning or end?
End.
Is he saving up or is he paying down?
Paying down to end.
Paying down, so it's end. So what's dude's payment? Punch it all in, figure it out. But it's not really negative, right? Why does it say negative? Because it's money coming out of his pocket. And how much was it, Louis?
3,572.
It rounded off to like 99 something? Okay. Does everybody understand? Yes, Zara. Because most, if you had read the question or listened up here, typically mortgages are done semi-annually. Now, but I am glad you asked that, okay? Because what I want you to do now, what changes if I make this 1? Change it to annually and then give me his payment. .14. 3.4? 0.4. 40. So he would save $30 a month if he could get the bank to do it annually. Right? Now, which does the bank want? Semi-annually, so you pay more interest. What do you want? Annually, so you pay less. Do you have any say in this? Yeah, you do. How many people will lend you money? How many banks are there? There's 5 major banks in Canada. And what else? Are there credit unions? Yeah. Are there smaller banks?
Yes.
Are there mortgage companies that just do mortgages?
Yeah.
So there's a competition out there, isn't there? So, how do you ensure you get the best deal? You go everywhere. You wouldn't buy the first car the first guy showed you, would you? No, of course not. You don't walk into a store and see the first shirt hanging on a rack and just grab it and walk out, do you? Do you? You look around. You shop around, right? If Superstore is selling roast beef for $1.50 less per kilogram than Save on Foods, would you go to Save on Foods? You should. Save on Foods meats are way better than Superstore's. But where would you go? To the cheaper one. So, do you have a say in this? Yeah. And that's mortgages. Do you think you have a say in everything else? I want to borrow enough money to buy a car. Can I? Can I? Can I shop around? Yes. Just like you would shop around for everything else. Okay, let's make a change here. Gino's now going for 25 years. So what does this number become up top? 25 times 12, which is what? 300. Interest is still 7. Present value is still 400,000. Payment, we still don't know. Future value is 0. 12. Let's do this one. Let's keep it at 2 now, right? I've done my experiment to show you how the difference it can make. And end. What's his payment if he changes it to 25 years? 2,072.49. Significantly less per month, yes? Right? I didn't do this. Louis might be wrong.
I got 2,801
You got 2,800?
802.
Killing us, Louis. Did you change the 1 back to 2? Whatever. 2,800. Who cares, right? What's the point of this? Does he pay way less? Yes, but he has to pay for his house for an extra 10 years, right? So maybe if he's paying $2,800 a month for 10 extra years, That's a lot more than this, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you can afford to pay off your house sooner, you're going to pay less for your house. It's the long and the short of it. You're going to be paying less interest, right? Everybody good? Now, Gino's not a fool. The first bank Gino went to said 7%. Did he say, yeah? No. He went and found a guy that would do it for 4%. Run it. How much? 2,985.
No. 2,100.
Oh, 2,095.
Yeah, 2,104. So, yeah, me too.
Amazing. I'm telling you what to put there, and you're getting different answers. It's written right here, Lucas. All right. So dude managed to save himself $700 a month. Times 300 months. That's a buttload of money, yeah? You know what that buys him? 2 snowmobiles and 2 quads to put in the double car garage. How many of you people have cars in your garage? Nice. My garage is full of crap. My cars live in the driveway. I'm thinking maybe I'm debating building a shed in my backyard so I could actually put a car in the garage. I'm thinking maybe. But since I have 2 cars and only one would fit in the garage, there's not much point. Although being the good gentleman that I am, I would put my wife's car in the garage so she would never have to go out to a rainy, frozen car. Because I'm classy that way. Or the other choice is I'm going to put a room in the garage. I'm going to fill the garage in properly, make it nice and warm, and make my kid have his video games in there. But then I still got to build a shed. I haven't decided yet. And lastly, how much does Gino pay in total at 4%? So what was his payment at 4%? It was 2,104.08 times how much? How many payments? 300. So how much does he pay for the house at that rate? And then at 7, it was 2,800 and something. But we had a big fight about that one. What was it actually? 2,801.66 times 300. How much did he pay for the house at 4%? Yeah. 600, 200. And how much did he pay at 7%? 840. Exactly. Okay. But not really, because he also paid 25,000 on the first day, didn't he? $865,000 or $656,000. Is it worth shopping around to save a couple of percentage points on your interest rate? I'd like to have $200,000 extra dollars when I get older. Wouldn't you? Oh, we did this. We did E right here. These answers are E. Okay, you guys do page 205. Stop at number 24. Don't go on to loans. And that's your work for the day. If you don't have one of these calculators at home or don't have it on your phone, you got to pretty much do these in class, right? And make sure you return my calculators with their batteries. Thieves. I don't even know what you people need AAA batteries for anymore. None of you watch TV. You don't need remotes. The Xbox controllers use AAA batteries? Yeah, the remote to turn on the TV. That uses AAAs. Back when I first started teaching and before iPods, everybody would steal the batteries for their Walkman or Discman or whatever they were carrying. Yep, stop at 24. Stop at the... Notice how I... Did you guys get the same font as me? When I put loans, I put it on tombstones. I'm tired today. And I gotta get a haircut. I'm getting shaggy.
Did you change your glasses or something?
I did get new glasses. Yesterday. I got 2 pairs of new glasses. This is one of them. The other one is blue. All the better to see you with. Oh, I guess I can stop recording.